Welcome to Scholastic IQ, the game where knowledge rules. I'm your host, Ethan Neer, and we have another great show in store for you tonight. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams. On the bottom, we have Mascoutah with Wyatt, Joanna, Kaylee, and Nolan. And on the top, we have Sesser-Valier with Adine, Bo, Hudson, and Emily. So before we get into our game, let's just do a quick recap of the rules. We'll start off with some toss-up questions. Each of those will be worth 10 points. If a team gets it right, they'll get to move on to a bonus question, which is worth 20 points, although bonus questions can be stolen for 10 points to the other team. You guys can interrupt me at any time, but if you interrupt me and get the question wrong, it'll be 5 points to the other team. So if you're gonna do it, make sure you're right. With that all out of the way, if you guys are all ready, let's get into the questions. What felsic rock, which is the intrusive equivalent of rhyolite, makes up most of the continental crust and is sometimes used for countertops? Wyatt.
Granite.
Granite's correct. Well done. Yes. For your bonus, what 7-letter word was the name of the medieval region of England where Norse invaders settled and asserted their own culture and government?
Nordic.
Nordic is not the answer we're looking for. Sesser-Valier, your chance to steal.
Gaelic.
Gaelic is also incorrect. We were looking for Danelaw. Take us to our next toss-up. What Caribbean country includes the islands of Andros, Great Exuma, and New Providence, the last of which contains the capital of Nassau? Wyatt.
Bahamas.
The Bahamas is correct. Well done. Quick on the trigger. For your bonus, electric flux equals enclosed charge over epsilon naught, according to what law, whose analog for magnetism assumes no magnetic monopoles?
No answer.
All right, no answer. Sesser-Valier.
No answer.
The answer we're looking for was Gauss's law. For our next question, John Carpenter was the first American winner of the jackpot on what game show once hosted by Regis Philbin, whose lifelines include Phone a Friend? Wyatt.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is correct.
Nice.
The bonus, the archaeological site of Les Olmedos is on what island, which is the home to the Canadian provincial capital of St. John's?
Prince Edward Island.
Prince Edward Island.
PEI is incorrect. Sesser-Valier, chance to steal.
No answer.
The answer we're looking for is Newfoundland, also home to the Newfie dogs. Those adorable, fluffy dogs. For your next toss-up, what party, which largely absorbed the anti-Masonic Party, had its first 2 presidents die in office and opposed Wyatt?
Whig.
The Whig Party is correct. Wyatt, very quick on the buzzer so far. For your bonus, what Union cavalry commander devastated Virginia's Shenandoah Valley in 1864 and helped trap Confederate forces at Appomattox?
It's Grant.
Grant.
Grant is incorrect. Sesser-Valier.
Sherman.
Sherman? Sherman is incorrect. The answer we're looking for was Sheridan. So very close. And for your next question, our first pencil and paper ready question. What is the value in cents of 6 coins, given the coins include 1 quarter, 3 dimes, and 2 nickels? Wyatt.
75.
75 is incorrect. Hudson.
60 cents.
60 cents is also incorrect. It's 65 cents. 65 cents. And since you guys didn't get that one, we will not move on to that bonus. We'll take it to another toss-up. What author who wrote about the marriage of Jack Potter in his story The Bride Comes to Yellow Sky wrote the novel The Red Badge of Courage? Wyatt.
Crane.
Stephen Crane's correct. Well done. For your bonus, what city where Amazon canceled plans to build its HQ2 campus contains an Amazon warehouse that was unionized by Christian Smalls in 2022?
New York.
New York City is correct. Well done, Joanna. And with that out of the way, we'll take it to our first media question. This flag belongs to the country that is located in Wyatt.
Italy.
Italy is correct. Well done. And because that was a media question, there is no bonus. So we'll just take it back to toss-ups. What European country whose traditional dishes include paprikash and goulash? Wyatt.
Hungary.
Hungary is correct.
Nice.
For your bonus, the shepherd Gabriel Oak wishes to marry landowner Bathsheba Everdeen in what Thomas Hardy novel whose title refers to its rural setting?
Tess of the D'Urbervilles.
Go ahead.
Tess of the D'Urbervilles.
That is incorrect.
No answer.
The answer we're looking for was far from the madding crowd. Back to the toss-ups. What country, which joined Argentina and Uruguay in the War of the Triple Alliance, had 2 emperors named Pedro and was a former white?
Brazil.
Brazil is correct. For your bonus, pencil and paper ready. What integer can be expressed in scientific notation as 4 times 10 raised to the 8th power?
$400 billion.
400 billion is incorrect. Sesser-Valier, your chance to steal and get on the board.
400 million.
400 million is correct. Well done.
Sorry.
Getting the steal and getting yourself on the board, and we'll take it to another toss-up. What sculptor who created Man with the Broken Nose names Wyatt?
Rodin.
Rodin is correct. For your bonus, what Greek god made the first horse, carried a trident, and ruled the seas?
Poseidon.
Yeah, Poseidon. One of the few questions on this list so far that I've known the answer to, so well done. For your next toss-up, what city whose territory includes the glass-making island of Murano was once ruled by doges and has gondolas traversing its many canals?
Venice.
Venice is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what French novella is named after a childlike character who uproots baobab trees that threaten the asteroid where he lives?
The Little Prince.
The Little Prince is correct. Well done. I get the feeling that was kind of a shot in the dark.
I
No,
read
she knew
it in middle school.
Okay. So reaching into the deep recesses of your memory there. I get it. For the next toss-up, what British author imagined a damsel with a dulcimer and wrote about caves of ice with a sunny pleasure dome at Xanadu in his poem Kubla Khan? Wyatt.
Coleridge.
Coleridge is correct. Well done. For the bonus, what Portuguese-speaking country is governed from Maputo and lies due west of Madagascar?
Mozambique.
Mozambique.
Mozambique is correct. For the next toss-up, pencil and paper ready. What is the measure of the third angle of a triangle whose other 2 angles measure 105 degrees and 55 degrees, respectively? Hudson.
20 degrees.
20 degrees is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what alias is used by jewel thief Selena Kyle, who first appeared in a 1940 issue of Batman?
Catwoman.
Catwoman is correct. And with that, we'll take it to another media question. Known for her time on Disney's Bizaardvark and High School Musical, the musical Hudson.
Olivia Rodrigo.
Olivia Rodrigo is correct. And we'll take it back to the toss-ups. What policy enacted by Executive Order 9066 created Tule Lake, Manzanar, and other camps? Wyatt.
Japanese internment camps.
Japanese American internment camps is correct. Well done.
That's what I was thinking.
For your bonus, what car brand whose midsize SUVs are sold as RX models was the first Japanese luxury car made to launch in the US and is a division of Toyota?
Lexus.
Lexus is correct. Well done there. For your next question, what adjective which precedes dark in the title of a Nintendo 64 FPS describes numbers such as 6 and 28 and is a synonym of immaculate? Nolan.
Perfect.
Perfect is correct. I gotta ask, did you guys get the first part of the question, know anything about the N64 game, or was it just the back half is where you picked up? Okay, I did, once again, feeling so old that I know what Perfect Dark is. For your bonus, I am requiring 2 answers for this. What 2 biochemists name the standard pairing of bases that hold strands of DNA together?
No answer.
No answer. Sesser-Valier, the chance to steal.
No answer.
Answer we're looking for was James Watson and Francis Crick. Back to the toss-ups. In June 2022, what federal agency cited safety concerns in banning sales of Juul e-cigarettes and improved infant versions of Wyatt?
FDA.
FDA is correct. For your bonus, Henri is the reigning Grand Duke of what small European country that shares the border with Germany, France, and Belgium?
Yeah.
Netherlands.
Netherlands is incorrect. Sesser-Valier, your chance to steal.
Luxembourg.
Luxembourg is correct.
Okay.
Back to the toss-ups. What conflict in which Charles Gordon led the ever-victorious army against a man who claimed to be Jesus' brother occurred during the Qing dynasty? So you guys are all out of time. The answer you're looking for was the Taiping Rebellion. On to the next toss-up. What structure in the human eye has a fovea with a high concentration of cones and transmits information to the brain via the optic?
Retina.
Retina is correct. Well done, Joanna.
Nice.
For your bonus, what economist used trade between Britain and Portugal to describe comparative advantage in 1917s on principles of political economy and taxation?
Ricardo.
Ricardo is correct. And with that, we'll take it to our lightning round. I know, very highbrow, fancy sound effects that we have for the lightning round. Listen, there's a big budget for a PBS show, is all I'm saying. All right, so the way our lightning round works is each team will have 60 seconds to answer as many questions as they can about a particular topic. Sesser-Valier, since you guys are trailing, you will have the chance to pick your topic first. Your choices are T in anatomy, national parks, alliterative comic book characters, and Missourians.
Alliterative comic book characters.
Alliterative comic book characters it is. Let me read out the full description for you. Identify these comic book characters with alliterative names. 60 seconds on the clock, and I will count you down. 3, 2, 1. Spider-Man's alter ego. I wonder who it could be.
Peter Parker.
Yeah. Female hero with a lasso of truth.
Wonder Woman.
That's correct. Rival of Superman played in movies by Jesse Eisenberg.
Lex Luthor.
That's correct. Animal companion of Groot.
Rocket Raccoon.
That's correct. Herald of Galactus, whose original name was Norrin Rad.
Silver Surfer.
That's correct. Tony Stark's primary love interest, who's also uses the name Rescue.
Pepper Potts.
That's correct. Alter ego of the Winter Soldier.
Bucky Barnes.
That's correct. Head of the Daily Bugle, generally depicted as hating Spider-Man.
J. Jonah Jameson.
That's correct. Detective who marries Luke Cage.
Jessica Jones.
That's correct. Name used by Sally Jupiter and her daughter in The Watchmen. You guys could normally pass, but this is the last question, so. The name of used by Sally Jupiter and her daughter in Watchmen. So you guys are all out of time. The answer we're looking for was Silk Spectre, but I mean, killing it on every other question. Totally didn't almost give you the answer for the first one. You should know who Spider-Man's alter. You guys know that. That's not that bad. All right, Mascoutah, now it's your guys' turn. I'll read your topics for you. You guys, your choices are national parks, Missourians, and T in anatomy.
We're gonna go with T in anatomy.
T in anatomy it is. Give these anatomical terms beginning with the letter T. 60 seconds on the clock, and I'll count you down. 3, 2, 1. Mouth organ covered in taste buds.
Tongue.
Tongue is correct. First digit on the hand.
Thumb.
Thumb is correct. Anatomical name for the shin bone.
Tibia.
Tibia is correct. Lymphatic throat organs often removed in children.
Tonsils.
Tonsil is correct. Tissue that connects muscle to bone.
Tendon.
Tendon is correct. Endocrine gland affected in Graves' disease.
Thyroid.
Thyroid is correct. 3-part muscle response for elbow extension. Responsible for elbow extension.
Pass.
Tricep.
Triceps correct. Male gonad where sperm is produced.
Testicles.
Testicles correct. Lobe of the brain that processes sensory information.
Thalamus.
Thalamus is incorrect. Immune system organ located behind the breastbone.
Pass.
That is the last one you guys have to answer, so.
Trachea.
Trachea is incorrect, and you're also about to run out of time anyways. So the lobe of the brain that processes sensory information is temporal. An immune system organ located behind the breastbone is thymus. Thymus. I'm with you there, Joanne. I've never heard of that in my entire life. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at our score. I mean, Mascoutah, I think you guys and Sesser-Valier both went even on bonus on the lightning round. So I don't think any score actually changed, but it is now 150 for Sesser-Valier and 350 for Mascoutah. So trailing, but still got the back half of the game. No reason you can't catch up. Back to our toss-ups. What city, whose first NFL team moved to Tennessee in 1997? Wyatt.
Houston.
Houston's correct. Hold on. For your bonus, what German physicist discovered a loop rule and a junction rule that can be used to analyze voltage and currents in circuits?
Is that Ampere? Ampere.
Ampere is incorrect. Sesser-Valier, a chance to steal.
No answer.
The answer we're looking for was Gustav Kirchhoff and Kirchhoff's laws. And with that, we'll take it to another media question. This,
Steven Universe.
all right, well, you can at least let me say the question. Wyatt. Jesus. Yes, Steven Universe is correct. And we'll take it back to the toss-ups. What composer's hymn, I Vow to Thee, My Country, Wyatt?
Holst.
Gustav Holst is correct. For your bonus, the Roman Emperor Claudius wrote a history of what neighboring people, an early rival of the Romans, who settled the cities of Veii and Tarquinii.
Is that like Carthage? Carthage.
Carthage is incorrect.
Germanic tribes.
Germanic tribes is also incorrect. And Jesse, this is the one that we went over at the lunch table before coming here. It is Etruscans. Etruscans. Back to the toss-ups. What non-conservative force, whose magnitude is often modeled as a namesake coefficient times the normal force, is reduced by Joanna?
Friction.
Friction is correct. It isn't reduced by Joanna, it's reduced by friction. For the bonus, residents of what West Coast city, led by Mayor London Breed, voted to recall Progressive District Attorney Chesa Boudin in a 2022 election? That's Chesa Boudin.
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
San Francisco is correct. Well done.
Nice.
Your next toss-up. What English-born explorer of the future New York sailed the Half Moon, was marooned in a 1610 mutiny, and is the namesake of a massive bay in Canada? Right.
Hudson.
Henry Hudson's correct. For your bonus, what author of the autobiography Black Boy wrote a novel that depicts the trial of Bigger Thomas?
Wright.
Richard Wright is correct. Well done. For your next question, what biblical character was hidden by his mother Jochebed?
Moses.
Moses is correct. The bonus question is that the U.S. Constitution is based partly on the oral constitution of what confederacy of Native American tribes?
Iroquois.
Iroquois is correct. Well done. Your next toss-up. Which zodiac constellation contains the black hole at the center of the Milky Way, depicts a centaur with a bow, and is sometimes called Nolan?
Taurus.
Taurus is incorrect and is sometimes called the Archer. Hudson.
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius is correct. Well done. And for your bonus, pencil and paper ready. What decimal is equivalent to the fraction 31 over 40, given that 30 over 40 equals 0.75? I'm sorry, you guys are all out of time. Mascoutah, you can keep writing. You do have the chance to steal.
.775.
0.775 is correct. Well done. Back to the toss-ups. What country whose Cape Regina is sacred to its indigenous people has two main islands, North and South Island? Why?
New Zealand.
New Zealand is correct. For your bonus, what poem that describes life as a darkling plain where ignorant armies clash is by Matthew Arnold and is named for a location on the British coast?
Dover Beach.
Dover Beach is correct. And that'll take us to another media question. This...
Skip me.
I'll read the full question. Then this American rapper and producer is also known as Bobby Tarantino and Young Sinatra. One of his most popular songs is 1-800-273-8255, which reached number 3 on the US Billboard Hot 100. Name this rapper. Kaylee.
Logic.
Logic is correct. Well done.
Nice.
I was waiting for nobody to buzz in and then say nobody could relate, because that's a lyric from the song, and I'm clever. All right, and since you guys got that right, I should take that. Oh no, that was a media question. I don't have to take that back out. We'll move on to another toss-up. What country was home to the poet of Sonnets of Death, Gabriela White?
Chile.
Chile is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what nationalistic political faction deposed Sultan Abdul Hamid II in 1909 in its efforts to bring liberal reforms to the late Ottoman Empire?
What are they asking for? No. No answer.
No answer.
No answer. Sesser-Valier, the chance to steal.
No answer.
It is now the name of a TV station. It's the Young Turks. And with that, we'll take it to another toss-up. What director depicted a search for gold in Vietnam and a Colorado detective posing as White on the phone in his films The Five Bloods and Black Klansman? So you guys are all out of time. The answer we're looking for was Spike Lee, the director of Black Klansman. Your next toss-up, what composer who wrote the chorus of the Hebrew slaves for White?
Verdi.
Verdi is correct. And well done. For your bonus, Yekaterinburg lies on the east side of what Russian mountain range that formed part of the boundary between Asia and Europe?
Ural.
The Ural Mountains is correct. Back to the toss-ups. What linear triatomic molecule, which is produced with water in complete combustion of methane, forms the bubbles in carbonated beverages? Ethan.
CO2.
CO2 is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what two countries whose joining was banned by the Treaty of Versailles were unified by the 1938 Anschluss?
Russia and Germany.
Russia and Germany is incorrect. Mascoutah, a chance to steal.
Austria and Hungary. Austria and Hungary.
Austria-Hungary is incorrect. It's Austria and Germany. So, I mean, both you guys got there. You both have 1/2. That's 5 points a team. I can't make that rule, but I'm going to make that rule. 5 points a team. For the next toss-up, what author included a speech about the first mover in a story about the rivals Palamon and Arcite, which the knight narrates in the Canterbury Tales? Right.
Chaucer.
Chaucer is correct. For your bonus, a 1973 painting by Jacques-Louis David depicts the death of what propagandist of the French Revolution?
Marat.
Marat is correct. Back to the toss-ups. What British Prime Minister was replaced by Anthony Eden in 1955 and by Clement Attlee in 1945 after leading the UK for most of World War II?
Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill is correct. Well done. For your bonus, which English philosopher and proponent of empiricism presented a version of the scientific method in his 1620 treatise Novum Organum?
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus is incorrect.
Aquinas.
Aquinas is also incorrect. The answer is Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon. Back to the toss-ups. What polymer, which a Chinese team led by Qiao Sai synthesized without cells in 2021, consists of linked glucose units and stores energy in potatoes?
Starch.
Starch is correct. Well done. For your bonus, what extremely toxic noble gas causes lung cancer and often accumulates in basements?
Methane.
Methane is incorrect. Mascoutah, a chance to steal.
Radon.
Radon is correct. Well done. For your toss-up, what author whose pet boatswain inspired his epitaph to a dog also wrote the humorous 1819 epic Don Juan and was a British romantic poet and lord?
Lord Byron.
Lord Byron is correct. Hold on. For your bonus, tone color is another term for what musical quality, the unique sound that distinguishes different musical instruments and voices from one another?
Octave.
Octave is incorrect. Sesser-Valier, a chance to steal.
Pitch.
Pitch is incorrect. The answer is timbre. Timbre. The next toss-up. What phenomena has missense and frame shift varieties? White.
Mutation.
Mutation is correct. For your bonus, what vice president under Jimmy Carter won only D.C. and his home state of Minnesota while losing the 1984 presidential election to Ronald Reagan?
Mondale.
Mondale's correct. Well done. On to our next toss-up. What god is the rival of the jaguar god Tezcatlipoca?
Quetzalcoatl.
Quetzalcoatl is correct. Well done. And I'm not going to don't think I nailed that first pronunciation, but we tried our best. For your bonus, the ferryman Vasudeva teaches wisdom to the title character who shares a name with the Buddha in what novel by German writer Hermann Hesse?
Siddhartha.
Siddhartha is correct. And with that bell, that means that is going to be all the questions we have time for today, so let's take a look at our score. We're ending with Sesser-Valier at 195 and Mascoutah at 675. So, I mean, Wyatt, Joanna, and Kaylee Nolan, you guys really just took the wheels and didn't let go. Well done. So that is going to be all the time we have for on today's show. For all of our lovely contestants here today and all the people working hard behind the camera, I'm Ethan Neer. Thank you so much, and good night.